The Grand Galactic Council chamber hung suspended in the void between stars, a monument to 10,000 years of cooperative civilization. Its crystalline walls refracted the light of a nearby nebula, casting prismatic shadows across the assembled delegates. Today, those delegates murmured with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. Humanity had requested an audience. Council Speaker Thelkson of the Vorum Ascendancy raised his primary manipulator, and the chamber fell silent. His species had guided the council for 3 millennia, and his word carried the weight of tradition. "The petition is unusual," he announced, his translator rendering his thoughts into the common tongue. "This species, these humans, have barely achieved faster-than-light travel. They possess only one star system. By all standard metrics, they are beneath our notice." "Then why waste our time?" snapped Councillor Vextra, her chitinous plates clicking with irritation. "The Krithak had little patience for primitives." "Because," interjected Councillor Moros, his gaseous form swirling with what might have been amusement, "they have refused to acknowledge their proper place. 3 times we have sent envoys. 3 times they have politely declined our guidance." A ripple of shock moved through the chamber. Lesser species always accepted council guidance. It was the natural order. The strong led, the weak followed. That was how civilizations survived in the galaxy's harsh realities. "Declined?" Vectra's mandibles spread wide. "On what grounds does a single system species decline the council?" "They wish to present their case directly, Thelkson. I propose we grant this audience. Let us educate these primitives on galactic realities. Perhaps witnessing our assembled might will inspire appropriate humility." The vote was unanimous. It always was. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UHSV Prometheus, watching the stars streak past in cascades of distorted light. The unified human space vessel, the first of its kind, the only of its kind, cut through the cosmos like a blade through silk. Captain, her XO, Commander James Park, approached with a datapad. "Latest intelligence from our remote probes. The Council maintains a defense perimeter of approximately 5,000 vessels around their central hub. Mixture of cruiser class and frigate class based on our classification system." 5,000, Elena repeated, allowing herself a slight smile. "Compensating for something, you think?" "Or they've never needed to innovate beyond strength in numbers," James replied. "Our xenology team believes the Council species achieved space travel so long ago that they've calcified. Same ship designs for thousands of years, just incrementally improved." Elena nodded, her eyes tracing the forward view screen where the Council's beacon pulsed, inviting them forward. No, not inviting, commanding. And the Prometheus? "All systems nominal, Captain. Reactor efficiency at 103%. Defensive grids charged. Primary weapon systems in standby mode. We're as ready as we'll ever be." She stood, smoothing her uniform. It was simple compared to what she'd seen of Council formal wear. Navy blue, minimal ornamentation, function over form. Very human. "Then let's go introduce ourselves. Helm, drop us out of FTL at the coordinates they provided. Communications, open all channels. I want everyone to see this." "Ma'am, are you sure?" James asked quietly. "Once we reveal Prometheus, there's no going back. Every species in the galaxy will know what we can build." "Good," Elena said simply. "Let them know." The council chamber's early tedium evaporated when the sensors chimed. "The humans are arriving," announced a junior technician, his voice uncertain. "But there's something wrong with the readings." Thelzan leaned forward. Clarify.
The mass signature, Council Speaker. It must be an error. No single vessel could.
Space tore open. The assembled council fell into shocked silence as the human vessel emerged from faster-than-light transit. The chamber's defensive arrays immediately began calculating threat assessments, and across thousands of screens, the same impossible numbers appeared. The ship was 20 kilometers long. Impossible, Vexthra breathed. It hung in space like a sleeping god, all angles and purpose. Where council ships were elegant curves and aesthetic flourishes, the human vessel was brutal efficiency. Its hull was the color of midnight, drinking in the light of surrounding stars. Massive thruster arrays glowed with barely contained fusion fire. And along its spine, structures that could only be weapon emplacements bristled like the spines of some ancient predator. "Get me specifications," Thelzan demanded, his composure cracking. "Now!" The data came flooding in, and with each new piece of information, the council's certainty crumbled a little more. Hull composition. Carbon silicate composite with regenerative properties. Estimated thickness 400 meters. Power signature. Unknown reactor type. Energy output equivalent to a small star. Crew complement. Estimated 50,000. Weapons. Unknown configuration, but energy signatures consistent with mass accelerators, directed energy systems, and, the analysts hesitated, possible exotic matter deployment. "A dreadnought," Councillor Moros whispered, his gaseous form compressing with what might have been fear. "They've built a dreadnought." "Impossible," Thelzan insisted. Dreadnought-class vessels require the combined resources of multiple star systems. Humans have one system. One! They've barely had FTL for a decade. "Perhaps," suggested a quieter voice, "Councillor Yinseth of the scholarly lumens, we have underestimated them." Before Thelzan could respond, every communication system in the council chamber activated simultaneously. The humans were broadcasting, and they had effortlessly overridden every security protocol. A face appeared on the central display. Human, clearly. Female, with dark hair bound in a practical style, and eyes that held both intelligence and something the council rarely saw directed at them, absolute confidence. "Greetings, Galactic Council. I am Captain Elena Vasquez of the unified human space vessel Prometheus. Thank you for agreeing to this audience. I apologize for the dramatic entrance, but we wanted to ensure we had your complete attention." Elena watched the council chamber on her screen, noting every detail. The aliens tried to hide their shock, but body language was universal when you knew what to look for. Mandibles tight with tension, energy fields pulsing irregularly. Even the crystalline ones had stress fractures appearing in their outer layers. "Exo? Reading their vitals?" she asked quietly. "Multiple species showing elevated stress responses," James confirmed. "Looks like we made an impression." The lead alien, the one in the central position, recovered first. "I am Council Speaker Thalxan. Your vessel is certainly impressive for a species of your developmental level. However, physical size is not the sole measure of civilization. The Council has maintained peace and order in this galaxy for 10 millennia through wisdom, cooperation, and—" "Superior force?" Elena interrupted gently. "Council Speaker, let's be honest with each other. Your guidance comes with an implicit threat. Join the Council, accept your place in the hierarchy, contribute resources to the greater good, and, in exchange, you won't be sanctioned. Or worse." Vulcan's translator made a sound that might have been a cough. "That is a cynical interpretation. Is it? Your envoys were quite clear. As a single system species, humanity would be placed in the Tier 5 category. We would have limited voting rights, mandatory resource quotas, and restrictions on our military development and expansion. In exchange, you would graciously protect us from the dangers of the galaxy. That is the natural order, Vextra interjected sharply. Primitive species lack the wisdom to govern themselves responsibly. The Council provides structure, prevents chaos. Elena smiled, and there was no warmth in it. Tell me, Councillor Vextra, how many Tier 5 species have ever advanced to Tier 4? Silence. The answer is 12, Elena continued, in 10,000 years, out of over 350 species currently in Tier 5. And not a single species has advanced beyond Tier 4 without being absorbed into a higher-tier species power structure. Your system isn't designed to help young species grow, Counselor. It's designed to keep them subordinate. How dare you? Vecthra began. We dare because we're not asking to join your council, Elena said, her voice cutting through the chamber like a laser. We're here to inform you that humanity will chart its own course. We'll engage in trade where mutually beneficial. We'll discuss peaceful cooperation on matters of common interest. But we will not subordinate ourselves to a system designed to exploit us. Vulshan's composure finally shattered. You cannot simply reject the council. You're one system. We are thousands. Your impressive warship means nothing against the combined might of galactic civilization. Maybe, Elena acknowledged, but ask yourself this, Council Speaker. We've had faster-than-light travel for 9 years. 9! In that time, we built this. She gestured around her. What do you think we'll build in 10 years? 20? A century? She leaned forward, her eyes hard. Humanity rebuilt our entire civilization from the ashes of nuclear war. We clawed our way up from the Stone Age to the stars in 10,000 years, the same time your council has existed. We did it with no guidance, no uplifting, no ancient wisdom handed down. We did it through blood, sweat, and refusing to accept that anything was impossible. You're savages, playing with technology you don't understand, Vexthra hissed. We understand it perfectly, Elena corrected. The Prometheus isn't a lucky accident, Counselor. It's the product of a unified global effort. Every nation on Earth contributed. We stripped asteroids for raw materials. We built manufacturing facilities in the orbits of gas giants. We created fusion reactors that your scientists said were theoretically impossible. We solved problems you didn't even know existed. James whispered in her ear, and Elena nodded. Council Speaker, your defense fleet is repositioning. I count approximately 300 vessels taking up what look like firing positions around Prometheus. I strongly suggest you order them to stand down. You're outnumbered and outgunned, Thelkan said, though his voice wavered. Surrender your vessel for inspection, and we may show leniency. Elena sighed. Commander Park, bring primary systems online. Let's give them a demonstration. In the council chamber, every sensor suddenly screamed in alarm. The human dreadnought was powering up, and the energy readings were catastrophic. Along its spine, massive structures began to glow with an inner light. The hull seemed to shimmer, and space itself appeared to distort around the vessel. "Energy signature spiking!" a technician shouted. "It's... by the ancestors! It's off the scale!" "All vessels, open fire!" Vexthra commanded. "Destroy that abomination before—" "Belay that order!" Filzan countermanded, his survival instincts overriding his pride. Something in the human captain's eyes told him that attacking would be the last mistake the Council ever made. On the display, Captain Vasquez smiled. A wise choice, Council Speaker. Weapons Officer, demonstrate point defense system, please. Target the debris in Sector 7. The Council watched as the human ship's weapons came alive. Hundreds of point defense turrets emerged from the hull, tracking faster than Council sensors could follow. They opened fire on a debris field left over from some ancient battle, chunks of metal and ice that had drifted in space for millennia. The debris field simply ceased to exist. In less than 3 seconds, thousands of objects ranging from pebble-sized to house-sized were vaporized with surgical precision. The weapons were so fast, so accurate, that they could target individual molecules if needed. That was 1/10 of 1% of Prometheus's defensive grid, Elena said casually. At full operation, we calculate it could intercept and destroy approximately 2 million incoming projectiles simultaneously. Your 300 ships, each carrying perhaps 100 missiles? The math isn't in your favor. This is madness, Moros said, his form roiling. The power requirements alone would drain any known reactor in seconds. Any known reactor? Yes, Elena agreed. Commander Park, give them a peek at the engineering section. The view shifted to show the heart of the Prometheus. Suspended in a magnetic field that could hold a small star was a swirling mass of contained plasma, burning at temperatures that should have been impossible to sustain. But around it, in concentric rings, were structures of such elegant complexity that even the Council's greatest engineers fell silent in awe. We call it a recursive fusion core, James Park's voice explained. It doesn't just generate power, it uses the waste heat from its own reactions to catalyze additional reactions, which feed back into the primary system. It's a self-sustaining loop that grows more efficient the more power you draw from it. These safety margins, Yinseth began, his scholarly nature overriding his shock, are built into every millimeter of the design, Elena finished. We didn't just throw this together, Counselor. Every system has redundancies. Every crew member trains for years. We built Prometheus to last for centuries, to explore the galaxy, to defend humanity against any threat. We built it because we looked at the stars and decided we would not be prey. She stood, her image dominating the council chamber display. Humanity has studied your council. We've listened to the whispered stories of species who joined and lost their independence. We've seen the resource quotas that conveniently leave Tier 5 species perpetually dependent. We've observed how dissent is handled with blockades and sanctions. You've built a very comfortable empire, Council, and you've convinced yourselves it's benevolent. We've maintained peace, Felson protested. You've maintained control, Elena corrected. There's a difference. But here's what's going to happen now. Humanity will expand. We'll establish colonies, build more ships, explore the galaxy that you've divided up among yourselves. When we encounter other species, we'll treat them as equals, potential partners, not resources to be managed. We will stop you, Vecthra said, but the conviction was gone from her voice. Will you? How? Elena spread her hands. Economic sanctions? We're completely self-sufficient. Military action? You've seen what one of our ships can do, and we're building more. Political isolation? We're already outside your system. She softened slightly. We don't want war, Council. Despite what you might think, humans are tired of war. We've fought enough of them among ourselves. What we want is freedom, to grow, to explore, to make our own mistakes and celebrate our own successes. If the Council can accept that, then we can find common ground. If not, she shrugged,
Then stay out of our way."
Velsan slumped in his seat, the weight of 10 millennia of assumed superiority crashing down around him. "What do you want from us?"
Right now, just acknowledgement. Humanity exists. We're not asking for permission, but we are extending courtesy by informing you of our presence. In the future, perhaps we can establish trade relations, cultural exchanges, mutual defense pacts, but only as equals.
"The other Tier 5 species will see this," Yinseth said quietly. "They'll know that someone refused the council and survived. There will be unrest." "Then perhaps it's time for the council to reform," Elena suggested. "What you've built is impressive, don't misunderstand. 10,000 years of general peace is an achievement. But systems that don't adapt eventually collapse. You can either evolve or become irrelevant. That's not a threat, it's just reality." She moved to close the channel, then paused. "One more thing. There are 37 species in the Tier 5 category. We'll be reaching out to them individually, offering technology exchanges, cultural dialogue, mutual support. Not to build an alliance against the Council, but to help them stand on their own. If they choose to remain with you, that's their right, but they should make that choice from a position of strength, not desperation."
"You'll destabilize everything!" Vexthra shouted. "No, Counselor. We'll give people choices. What they do with those choices is up to them." Elena smiled one last time. "Humanity will be watching, Council. We hope you'll surprise us." Vasquez out. The channel closed, and for a long moment the council chamber was utterly silent. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Elena let out a breath she hadn't known she was holding. "Well," James said quietly, "that could have gone worse." "It could have gone better," Elena countered, dropping back into her command chair. "But we've planted the seed. Now we see if it grows, or if we have to prepare for war." "Intel estimates the Council won't make a military move for at least 6 months," James reported. "They'll need time to study our technology, debate endlessly, probably send covert operatives to observe us." "Let them observe," Elena said. "Everything we told them was true. Earth is building 5 more Titan-class vessels as we speak, and the research division just confirmed they've cracked the exotic matter problem. The next generation will be even more impressive." She looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy that humanity was preparing to meet as equals rather than subjects. "You know what the real advantage is, James? The thing the Council lost millennia ago?" "What's that, Captain?" "We still remember what it's like to be underestimated. We still have something to prove," she grinned. "And we're really, really stubborn." Behind them, the Prometheus began its turn away from the Council space, its massive engines carving light across the darkness. In the ship's fabrication bays, new weapons were being assembled. In the science labs, researchers were pushing the boundaries of known physics. In the training halls, the next generation of crew was preparing for a galaxy that would no longer ignore humanity. In the council chamber, the debates raged for hours after the humans departed. Some called for immediate military action. Others urged caution. A few, like Yinseth, quietly suggested that perhaps the humans had a point. But it was Counselor Morris who finally asked the question that silenced them all. "Did any of you see a single weapon on that ship fire at full power?" The silence that followed was answer enough. The humans had made their point without firing a shot in anger. They had demonstrated such overwhelming technological superiority that the Council's numerical advantage suddenly seemed quaint. And they had done it while maintaining the moral high ground, offering partnership rather than dominance. It was, Falcon realized with creeping dread, exactly how a truly advanced civilization should behave. And the Council had spent 10,000 years doing the opposite. "Send envoys to the Tier 5 species," he said finally. "Begin discussing reforms to the tier system. And someone get our best scientists analyzing every scrap of data we collected on that ship." "Are we preparing for war?" Vexthra asked. "No," Felthsan said heavily. "We're preparing to adapt. Because the humans were right about one thing. Systems that don't evolve become irrelevant. And I'll be damned if I let humanity make the Council irrelevant." 6 months later, Captain Elena Vasquez stood in the same council chamber, but this time in person. The Prometheus hung in orbit above, joined now by her sister ship, the Icarus. 2 Titan-class warships and 3 more under construction. The Council had changed. Reforms were underway. Tier 5 species were being offered better terms, more autonomy. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. "The Council officially recognizes humanity as a sovereign power," Thelxon announced, and though his pride was wounded, there was also a hint of respect in his voice. "We invite you to participate in Council sessions as an independent observer, with the possibility of full membership should you desire it in the future." "We accept," Elena said, "on the condition that Council membership never means subordination. We'll contribute, we'll cooperate, but we remain free."
"Agreed," Thelkan said, and extended his manipulator in the human gesture of a handshake.
As Elena clasped it, she caught Yinseth's eye. The Lumen scholar had become something of an ally in recent months, sharing technical knowledge and historical data. He pulsed with what she'd learned to recognize as amusement. Later, as she walked through the station's corridors with a security detail, Yinseth approached. "I've been studying human history," he said without preamble. "Your species has a saying, 'Walk softly and carry a big stick.'"
"Close enough," Elena smiled.
"You've certainly brought a big stick," Yinseth observed. "But I notice you're still walking softly. That must require considerable restraint." "We learned from our mistakes," Elena said. "Humanity spent millennia fighting itself, conquering and oppressing and destroying. We nearly wiped ourselves out more than once. The only reason we survived was that eventually enough of us decided there had to be a better way."
"And yet you built the most powerful warships the galaxy has ever seen."
"Peace," Elena said quietly, "is not the same as pacifism. We'll never be victims again. We'll never let others dictate our destiny. But we also won't become the monsters we once fought. It's a balance."
Yinseth pulsed thoughtfully. The Council could learn from that balance.
"The Council is learning," Elena pointed out. "Slowly, but learning. Give it time."
"And if the hardliners refuse to change? If they attempt to reassert the old order?"
Elena's expression hardened. "Then they'll discover why humanity built the Prometheus with enough firepower to crack a planet. We hope we never have to use it, but hope is not a strategy." She softened again, placing a hand on Yinseth's crystalline shoulder. "We're not here to conquer, friend. We're here to stand alongside anyone who wants to build something better. If the Council can be part of that, wonderful. If not," she shrugged, "the galaxy is big enough for multiple civilizations." As she walked away, Yinseth remained in thought. The humans were a paradox. Simultaneously the most dangerous and most hopeful species he'd encountered in his long life. They had the power to shatter the established order, but used it to create space for something new. Perhaps that was what the galaxy needed. Not another empire, not another hierarchy, but a reminder that evolution applied to civilizations as much as to biology. Above, the Prometheus gleamed in the starlight, a monument to human determination and a warning to anyone who would threaten human freedom.
The council had been silenced by its arrival, but in that silence, something new was growing.
Something that might, just possibly, be hope.